Still in the Hustedde user controls project, I'm going to right click on my solution and add another new item. And as before, this will be a user control. And I'm going to call this one TenSegment.vb. I'm going to click add. And once again, in the Solution Explorer, I get my TenSegment.vb class, the designer, and the RESX file. And in the editor panel, I get a tab for the TenSegment.vb, the design tab. And the properties for that TenSegment control, I'm going to stretch out the size 490, 75. I'm going to add a group box. That group box is going to be inside my segment control. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller than the segment control. So let's make it 485, 70. And I'll set the location to about 3, 3. For the text, I'm going to set that to caption. That'll be one of our properties, will be the caption of this control, and that'll go in that area. And let's just name this GRP segment. Now what I want to have happen here is 10 labels going across, and the labels will change colors. This control will have a value between 0 and 10, and there'll be intervals. So if it's a 2, the first two labels will change colors. If it's a 5, the first 5 to the left will change colors. So it's going to be a visual clue of sort of a number line. So I'm going to create a label. I'm going to name the label LBL segment 1. I'm going to set the back color of it to Gainsborough in the web. And let's get rid of the text. I'm going to set the auto size to false. And for the size, let's make it maybe 40, 15. Might go a bit more than that. Let's go 40, 18. I'm going to nudge it down just a bit. Let's also give it a border style of fixed single. Then I'm going to copy that and paste. Move it over to the right. We'll name this one LBL segment 2. And then we'll select those two, copy, paste. And I'll repeat that process. Until I have 10 labels. Again, I'm going to go through and name these remaining ones LBL segment 3 through LBL segment 10. So your way to check is click the drop-down box on your properties. I have LBL segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to add one more thing here, and that's another label. It's going to go below that. I'll name this LBL comment. I'll set the auto size to false. And the fore color, I made royal blue. I'm going to stretch that out so it ends at the end of my 10th segment. And I think I'm just going to, again, just nudge this up just a little bit. That's my design of the control. Let's go over to the code. And to save you watching me type in my code, I'm going to pause the video here and I'll come back and show you my code. In the code, I have 5 class level variables. C scale value is going to be the integer value of that number line. The value I'm going to set that to from 0 to 10. I'm going to initially have it set at 0. So all the labels will be, in essence, off, or in this case, colored Gainsborough. The C comment is the comment below that number line. The C caption is the text on the group box that contains everything. And then my two colors, color on and color off, I'm going to set to red and Gainsborough respectively. My properties, I have a caption property. And again, that's going to be the text at the top of the group box. I'm going to for the getter, I'm going to return C caption. For the setter, passing it a string value, I'm going to set C caption that value and set the group segment.text to C caption. For the comment property, the getter is going to return C comment, and the setter, passing in a string value, we're going to set C comment to that value, and again set the LBL comment.text to C comment. Now the main part of this control is the scale value. So that, again, for the getter, I'm going to return C scale value, whatever that is set to. And then for the setter, we're going to pass it in an integer value. I've got a label array called segment that contains my 10 segment labels. LBL segment 1, LBL segment 2, and so forth through LBL segment 10. I'm going to set scale value equal to the value being passed. And then I have a for loop going from 0 to 9 that sets the back color of all of those label segments to the color off, which in this case will be Gainsborough. And then if scale value is greater than 0, I need to set some of those labels to the color on. And I'll do that inside then a loop going from 0 to the scale value minus 1. So if they put in a 3, we're going to go from 0 to 2. So segment 1, 2, and 3 would be colored, setting the back color to color on. And then to change those two colors, I have a color on and a color off property that simply uses setters and getters to return or set C color on or C color off respectively. Having finished creating our 10 segment control, we need to remember to go back to the build menu and choose rebuild solution. And then in our toolbox, we go back to my form. And in the toolbox, I now have this 10 segment control at the top. I can just drag that onto my form. I'm going to click on the segment, bring up the properties, and my segment is currently named TenSegment 1. I'm going to change it to TenSegment Hawaii. I'm going to set the caption here to likelihood of moving to Hawaii. And then the scale value, I'm going to set that at just a 2. And then the comment, one can dream. Okay, so there's my initial values for that 10 segment going through the properties, but I can also change these programmatically. So I'm going to double click on my form in the form load. For my code, let's say 10 segment Hawaii dot scale value equals 8. And then we'll change the comment to 10 segment Hawaii dot comment equals happy for the lottery win. I'm going to run my project, and on the form load, I'm now getting my scale set to an 8, and the comment is happy for the lottery win. So we can change the properties in the properties window and also programmatically for our user control. Well, let's look at how we can use this in another project, because we're going to use this in our next assessment project. I've created a new project called TenSegment Test. I have my empty form. If you look at the toolbox, I don't have that 10 segment control anywhere here. I need to bring that into my project. So I'm going to go to the Solution Explorer. I'm going to right click on my solution, go to Add. Here I'm going to add an existing item. I'm going to go to my Hustedde User Controls project. And I have in there the 10 segment designer.vb, the 10 segment RESX, and the 10 segment.vb. I'm going to select all three of those. and click Add. And now in my Solution Explorer, those are all there. However, I still need to do that important step of going to the Build menu and choose Rebuild Solution. And now in my toolbox, I have the TenSegment control, my user control. And I can drag that onto the screen and I can then use it. I'll bring up the properties. I'm going to set the color on from red. Maybe I want to use a different color. I'll choose a medium blue. I can set the caption. My cool TenSegment control. We'll add the comment. I'm just going to put CIS 150 AB greatness. And let's set the scale value to 5. Maybe with that color off, something other than Gainsborough. Let's make it maybe a really light blue. How about an Alice blue? Now it didn't change anything because it only refreshes when I change the value. So we can come back to the scale value. Let's change it to a 6. Now you can see that light blue there on those last 4. And if I wanted to change it back to a 5. Now if you wanted to make it so that we'd update those colors, we could code it. So when we change the colors, it refreshes the number scale. I didn't do that in my code, but it's possible. So that's how we can take an existing user control from one project, or I like to put everything in the Hustedde user controls for myself, and then all my user controls are there, and I can bring them into the projects as I need them. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Programming Practicum playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos I create, you can click my picture in the top right to subscribe to the channel.